Hey everyone, Adam Thatcher with Grace Farms here, and I'm delighted to share with you a quick video on how to make cold brew iced coffee. Cold brew coffee is different than iced coffee. It means that it's brewed at room or at cold temperature, giving it a really smooth, full-bodied taste that's not diluted with ice, and it just makes for a really fantastic offering, whether out of a pitcher or out of a kegerator in a tap system. So, how do we make cold brew coffee? Well, it's really as simple as just having a couple key components. It starts with really good ground coffee paired with a brewing bucket. This here is called a toddy. This is just one of many food safe style buckets that you can use to brew large batches of cold brew tea or coffee. This one is a 5-gallon bucket, which is pretty much an ideal size for brewing for kegs or back into pitchers. And then we also have a large filter, which just acts like a normal filter you'd use for drip coffee, but it's just a really big bag that fits perfectly into this large toddy. So, how do we brew? Let me show you. All right, so the first step is preparing the bucket, your toddy with your filter. On the inside of this bucket is a little riser that helps keep the coffee grounds from sinking all the way down to the bottom where the spigot is. So that's all that is. And then we've got our large filter bag, which just opens up like a big bag. We can put that inside of the bucket. Just fold the edge of it around the edge of the bucket. And then it's just as simple as adding 5 pounds of coffee for 5 gallons of water. We recommend a dark roast coffee, so either our river roast coffee or a single origin Indonesian, but you can definitely do cold brew with light roast Colombian or Ethiopian, which is a medium roast as well, and it all tastes delicious. We have these very convenient frac packs, which are 10 ounces of ground coffee. So 5 pounds is just 8 of these frac packs that are easily just dumped right into the big filter. As simple as this. Suggest doing this in the kitchen where it can be easily cleaned up if you accidentally knock over a bag of ground coffee. All right, now that we've got our coffee in the toddy, it's time to fill it up with water, so we'll just bring it over to the sink. Now we're just gonna use regular room temperature water to fill up the toddy. You can pour the water directly on top of the coffee grounds. You are gonna wanna kind of move it around to make sure that it all starts evenly soaking. And then there's also gonna be a paddle that comes with your toddy, or you can just use a spoon to just really push it all down so it starts absorbing that water. Here we go. Now that we've filled up the toddy with the water, we're gonna pull this bag together without letting anything spill out. It is very full, but the coffee grounds just help keep everything together, save a little bit mess on the backside. Just grab some string, it's as simple as that. Some of these filters even have, that you can buy online, have strings in them. Simple as that. Just tie it up. That ain't gonna open, just a simple tie over. Now we're full, put our lid on. Yeah, filled to the brim, great. Now we're just gonna move it over to our refrigerator. It can be left out at room temperature, but I suggest putting it in the refrigerator now, so come on. All right, now while our coffee is brewing, we can take a quick moment to talk about kegs. We recommend, if you are going to be doing your own kegging, you are looking for something called a Cornelius keg. A Cornelius keg just means that it's refillable by you. On the inside of it, you will see like a metal straw, if you will, that is connected to the outside valve. There is also an inside valve, which will be used to pressurize with nitrogen, and obviously out is pushing the coffee out. They also have what are called these ball lock tops. Sometimes these are called ball lock kegs, which allow you to open them, clean them, reseal them just like this, right? You can put the lid back on. So this is a Cornelius keg. This is what you want to use if you're going to be doing your own kegging with your own kegerator. Now we're going to transfer the cold brew coffee into the keg. So what I recommend if you're going to be filling your own kegs is get some type of container. It can be an empty milk crate, whatever it is, just to help get that keg up as close as you can to the spigot of the toddy. These kegs do come in a variety of sizes, 3-gallon, which are for smaller kegerators, or 5-gallon, which are for bigger kegerators. So you can do either one. All right, now that our cold brew coffee has been brewing for anywhere from 16 to 24 hours, we can take it out of the refrigerator and transfer it into the keg. Just be careful, it is heavy. We've got it set up. We're just going to open the valve of the spigot to drain into the keg. As simple as that. Here we go. Just keep an eye on it. Want to make sure you're not getting any splashing or spilling. And just going to drain it. Simple. All right. Now that we've got our keg full, it's time to seal the keg and date it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply the lid, the top, to the keg. It's a little tricky, so why don't you come on in close and I'll show you how we do it. We want to put the lid in at the opposite side so it fits in. Then we can turn it to get it to fit nice and snug. We lift up on the lever to hold it tight, and then we'll push the lever down, which allows the rubber flange on the outside to create a really nice tight seal. Just going to put some tape on here, put the date. Let's see, today's 6/17. And there we go. All right, so now let's look at the components inside of a kegerator. You've got your nitrogen tank, you've got 2 kegs. We use nitrogen for cold brew coffee and tea because you would use CO2 for carbonated beverages, of which this is not. You'll see 2 hoses for each tap. You'll see an in, which is the gas line hooked up to the nitrogen tank, and you'll see an out line, which is for the cold brew coffee to come out. You've got a couple options right here. That if you're going to store this keg for a couple days or a week, you can totally do that by flushing it with nitrogen. As soon as you hook up the in line with the nitrogen, it will push all the oxygen out and seal it with nitrogen, allowing you to store this keg for a number of days, I think really up to 30 days. So we'll first hook that up to the in valve. You can even hear the nitrogen going into the keg to flushing out any oxygen, preserving the coffee. The other option, if your keg is ready to use right now, we'll just hook it up and you can start drinking it. So again, we have our in line, which is the gas. It's hooked up on the in valve. The out line, which will hold the coffee, which we have labeled cold brew coffee, is on the out valve. It's hooked up. It will automatically be pressurized. We fit this nice and tight inside of our kegerator, and we will be ready for drinking. Close that up. Now that our cold brew keg is hooked up, we just put a little label on the tap handles, 1C for coffee, 1T for tea, obviously, and you may need to adjust the regulator for the amount of pressure coming from the nitrogen tank. And you can just do that really easy to tweak to set the speed at which the cold brew coffee comes out. And there you go. Fresh cold brew coffee, as easy as that, which will also save you a bunch of money. Instead of buying pre-made kegs or concentrate, this is a really effective way to basically drop the cost of having cold brew kegs in your office or work environment, wherever it is, in about half. So pretty great solution. Cheers.